Oh, hey there, everybody. Charles Doherty here, and I play Chris in The Unwinding, Brendan Davis's fantastic short film. Uh, so I'm here to say thank you to all of the viewers out there who've actually come in to visit and watch the video online since it's been released, and say thank you because we have, or are just approaching the 600,000 views mark, which is incredible for this film, and obviously it touches on a lot of themes and a lot of experiences that many of the people who are coming to watch the film are obviously experiencing, and I think it's great, and I think that it's fantastic that the film speaks to so many people, and that there's so many thoughts about the ending and about and about how we get there. So yeah, 600,000 views. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So I'd love to thank, obviously, Brendan for doing such a fantastic job on this film and curating this. And I travelled with Brendan to the Liverpool International Indie Film Festival, where the film did quite well. And, and it was a crazy weekend, and it's a lot of fun. We saw each other as well in France last year, and so it's been wonderful, obviously working with Brendan and meeting Brendan, but then also to everyone who was on the production. Kevin, who played David. So I try to catch up with him every time I'm in London. He's a fantastic guy. And Izan, who I haven't seen since we actually did the production, but we do message every now and again. I just keep getting travel pictures of her. She's in these far off destinations, so she's obviously doing some fantastic things. So it feels like it's been a minute since we filmed this. Obviously, this is the time that it takes for films to sort of develop and to see whether they capture the public consciousness, and I think that this one does in a very, very good way. And I've just been looking through at there's a lot of likes on the page, which is fantastic, and the comments. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Some of them are quite. I love this one. Beautiful, deep, and real. Never doubt the power of a tiny act of kindness. Once upon a time, and this is a true story, the police found a note from someone jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. The note said, "If you're reading this, I'm no longer here. I made a deal with myself that if just one person smiled at me in my walk to the bridge." Oh well, I can see where that's going, and that's terrible. That he wouldn't jump. Of course, the most important thing is self-compassion, and from that can spring compassion and kindness for all. Never forget, each of us, no matter what our current age, is a little child carrying a very heavy backpack. So that's from Nicole Erdang, and I think that was really profound. And that really does speak to the sense of isolation and loneliness that the film obviously purports to, of a lonely widower celebrating the birthday of his lost wife. And what about it else? My husband died 8 months ago, and every night, even though I know he's not there beside me in bed, I look over at his pillow and reach out to his side, just like the main character did in this film when he went to bed. Thank you for creating such a sensitive and respectful film about grief. And that's exactly what it is. One of the other major themes is grief, how we deal with it, and what it can do to you, how it can leave you in situations where you feel isolated, or where you just don't feel a sense of connection, and how difficult it can be for other people to reach you as well. So that's from Nancy. I especially love the devotion of the friend. He remembers the anniversary, constantly checks in, and we see that Lily is a part of his friend's failing mind. He composes himself and proceeds to the apartment, and we will all be so lucky to have a friend like that. Oh, well, I'll take that, since that's my character, Chris. And it is an important thing to really think about the kind of relationships that we have in this increasingly digital and isolated world. And I think that the whole digital thing is very much in keeping with what's causing the isolation of the world today. Far from being, a convenience or something that brings people together, I actually think that it is keeping people apart in the way that it sort of like it creates connection that isn't really connection. It allows you to see people in a way that doesn't actually mean that you engage with people, and that removes the uncertainty around engagements that can be surprising and that can sort of feather the relationships that we have with the people around us. That spontaneity, that unexpectedness. I think that curating and running everything at a distance. I mean, I certainly think that the social media trend or facility that we have today allows people to speak completely out of turn in a way that they would never speak to somebody if they were in the same room with them. And I think that is a real failing of social media. And when I look at places like my home country, Australia, who are putting bans on social media, I think, yeah, okay, I think that's the right thing to do. Because particularly for the young people, for vulnerable people, for people who really need to get out and experience real relationships. And I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, so, Stranger Things, getting out on bikes, playing Dungeons and Dragons and being with friends was such a major part of my upbringing. And I think that's really important. It's important to have friends. I think we need 5 close friends in our lives, and they can be family or they can be friends, but they right into that inner circle, people that we can rely on, people who we don't have to curate. They're just there. And I think we all need that. So, yeah, so thank you, Amber Plattner. For that comment about my character. I was a bit surprised to see that. This is profound from Brother Brando. Grief is a love that has no home. And yeah, that's like a haiku, but I think that really strikes very, very close to what grief is. So thank you for that one. I lost my husband to cancer nearly 3 years ago, and the beginning of this movie brought me to tears. It is hard to go out, especially as my other half was more the conversationalist. Excellent short film on the importance of people looking out for one another. Thanks. And that's from Maria. So thank you, Maria. And it's so great when I look at all of these comments, I see such a shared experience about the need for friendships, the desolation of grief, how other people are dealing with grief, and how there is still that need for connection or the kindness of strangers even, which unfortunately we don't see so much of in this day and age. And it's certainly an area that society it feels to me like it's moving backwards, that we all tend to be competing with one another rather than looking at each other as people that we have fellowship with, that we have things that we can do in common, that we can collaborate with. We're letting small differences keep our larger similarities apart. And this is what's kind of separating, I think, a lot of us and causing a lot of the issues in the world today. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. This is incredibly brilliant and incredibly moving. Being older and married with no kids and living thousands of miles away from family, I could see myself in this position ultimately. Friendships are one of the most important things we can have in life. Completely agree with you, Jeremy. That's absolutely the case. And I feel that too. I mean, obviously being a citizen of the world and traveling a long way from where I grew up, having friends in different places helps all of these other places feel like home. And certainly it's hard to make friends, really good friends. It really does take years. So it's really important to value the ones that we have. Such a beautiful film. Grief really needs time to unwind by Indira. Life always sends someone along to help this unwinding. See what she did there? Nice one. We humans have the capacity to save one another's lives every day. That's from Perrin Fan. Yeah, we do. And I think that the human nature is something that that is in all of us. We are by design a community animal, and we need to be looking out for one another. And I think that's what feels so artificial and lonely these days, is that's on a larger scale. It doesn't seem to be happening, but sometimes you just have to go out of the house, say hi to someone, in your local community, and feel that connection. Have a coffee, and things just feel better. And you realise that all the rage that's in the world around us, is that really something that's real on the scale that most of us operate on? And is it real? And should we be affected by it in the way that we are? Right. Okay. So that's incredible. And, and it's lovely. I won't spend too much time going over this, because there are so many comments. I could literally go on for ages. I do remember filming this production, and filming quite quickly. I mean, it was incredibly, well organized, and we had some brilliant people working on this. So much so that it was incredible the amount of time that it actually took to get this done, to get this filmed. And I guess I miss people like Naeem, who's the cinematographer. He did just such a wonderful job in everyday settings, in sort of central East London. Just creating that beautiful cinematic feel with almost nothing. I mean, that's really the craft of a cinematographer, to sort of take something and just make it look, cinematic and real. And and I haven't seen Roger in a while, and I hope he's well. But Roger King and we worked on other short films together, and he's a fantastic guy. And I've only met Stan, really, who's the executive producer. I've only really met him online. He's lovely. He's quite eccentric. But obviously, lots of love out to Brendan for his efforts with this. This is such a good film, and what an incredible milestone to reach 600,000 views on YouTube. And I hope it just keeps getting better and better.